Welcome to Sabrina's Craft-nanigans, and we're about to do another watermelon project. Just got a little sign from last fall from Dollar Tree. The first thing that's got to go is that sticker. We know the heat gun and the spatula works. Now off with the claw clip on the back, and I just used my pliers. Now the paper, gotta go. Pulled some off, used my sander. The best way to do this though is I took some wet wipes and sprayed it down with some water. And you can use paper towels too as well. But I figured, hey, between the wet wipe and the spray bottle of water, we got this. And I let it just lay on there and soak for just a minute or so. Took it off and then using my scraper from the Dollar Tree to get it off. I did let it soak for another second or so and then pulled it off again and scraped the rest of that glue off. Wiping it down real good. And then I'm going to use my finger sander to really make sure that that's all nice and smooth. And then sand my sides down and my edges. Taking my cloth, make sure your projects are always completely wiped down. And they're dry. Boom, there we go. Clean slate, ready to go. Taking my Waverly White chalk paint. Now first I originally thought I was going to leave this white. And then we're just making a little sign, watermelon sign here again. Like we did in my spindle video the other day. If you didn't watch it, go watch that. Anyway. So I was originally going to leave this sign white. So I gave it 2 coats of the Waverly White chalk paint. Just went around my edges and then on the top, just 2 nice smooth coats. And then we'll make sure that that is completely dry. Then I realized there's something I wanted to do. I'm getting the lemon yellow by Apple Barrel. And I'm going to give it 2 coats of this yellow because now I've decided I want it yellow, not white. Because we're going to do something for me for the first time in just a second. There, my friends, there's bees. You haven't met bees yet. Bees is another quality control inspector, making sure things are done correctly. We're going to crackle. Got out my Elmer's, just regular old Elmer's school glue, poured some out, got a sponge brush, which seemed to work really good for spreading the glue. And I'm just making sure that there is an even coat of the Elmer's glue all the way around the edges. And nothing is clumping up and pooling up on the sides. And then I'm going to make sure that there is a nice even coat of the school glue on top. Now, I've seen other people just slop it on, spread it around, and it worked great. I've seen people do what I'm doing and just made sure it was an even coat. It turns out great. It just, how much glue you put on and all that will just depend on how big your crackle is and how much crackle you get. I'm just playing around. This was my first time, so I decided, you know what, let me just make sure that there's a nice even layer all the way around. So I did that on all 4 sides and on the top. Okay, now here's what's important, friends. I'm getting a little nervous, you can tell by my hands. Taking that Waverly White chalk paint, only make 1 swipe. Boom, swipe. Swipe, boom, swipe, boom. Make sure your paintbrush is always loaded. Boom, swipe. That's it. Don't touch it. Now I'm going to paint my top and just swipe, swipe, swipe. Load my paintbrush again. And I'm going to give it 2 more swipes. And then I should have stopped, but of course I didn't. What's happening is where I'm painting it, where it was already painted, I'm pulling the paint off because it is already starting to crackle. So if you do feel like you got to put some more on, make sure you really have a lot of paint on your paintbrush, but it's best to just stop. Look, right here, boom, I just told myself, okay, stop, put it up. I got to stop. Miss OCD perfectionist, you got to stop and put it down. Then I'm going to dry it because I'm impatient. And you're going to see, you see the yellow starting to come through, and I'm going to get pretty excited here in a second. Oh my gosh, you're going to see the happy dance start in just a second here. Here it is, because it's about to come. Oh my God, it's starting. Oh, there's the happy dance. Oh, happy dance, happy dance, happy dance. Remember, this was my first time, guys, to crackle. I was so excited. So up there where I am at the top right now, it's not coming out as good because I painted over it after I had already painted it. So don't do that, guys. And there she is. Isn't she pretty? Oh, I measured, it was about almost 6 by 6. So I went 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And we're going to head to the Cricut and make a sign. Okay guys, while our crackle dries, we're coming over here to design space. I had a little sign and I went ahead and did all this before I got on here, but it says watermelons are the smiles of summer. Now it looks like it's all on a black mat, but all the colors, there's the green and then there's the pink, but I'm going to use a darker green and a red. What I did was I went to each mat, like this is where the green was. There'll be 3 dots. I'll go back to this first mat. You see when you click on a picture, there's 3 dots. When you click on that, there's a move object. If you click on that, you then can go and you can move it and pull it to your first mat. Okay, mine's already there, so of course we're not going to do that. Okay, so that's what I did with the green and then the pink, which I'm actually using red. I took all those images, said move object, and I put it right here on the first mat, which is my black with my seeds. And then once they get here, you can move them and adjust them. So this right here will be red. Those of course are my black seeds. And then this right here, of course, will be green. Okay, now it looks like it'll print all on black, but if you set up your mat right, if you look exactly like right here, we know I want this red. So I need to start my red chunk of vinyl at the 2 line, and I'll take it all the way to the 6 to make sure there's enough. And then it'll go from the edge, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my red all the way to the 5 line. So I just need to make sure my red vinyl fills up these same numbers on my mat. So if I look at my mat, here we go. Remember, it was at the 2, and then I needed to go to the 5. And then remember, I went ahead and I took it from the 2 down to the 6. Then there's my black for my seeds. And then here is my green chunk for this part, watermelons with the rind of summer. So instead of printing and having to print on 3 different mats, you can move all of your pieces to 1 mat by just clicking the 3 dots and move object, selecting the first color mat it was on, which will always be this one right here. Just click on that and move it, and then you, of course, and you can even like turn them, and you can get so much on one thing. So now I can print on 1 mat instead of all 3. So let's go. Let's do this. So I'm going to load my mat into my Cricut Explorer 3. We're gonna come down here to, if I can find my mouse, continue. Okay. All right, guys, she finally got going. I've just got permanent glossy vinyl here, so we'll click on that. I always click on more just to be on the safe side. Come over, hit our flashy button, show measure, see if we're ready to go. Okay, and she's ready. Here we go. She'll cut all those out. And as long as I have all my pieces lined up just right, everything should cut just fine. Okay, guys, so she got cut. I hope I explained that okay enough. If you have any questions, just holla at your girl. I'm weeding now. I'm one of those that love to weed. So I'm giving you this little experience right here. Got those apart. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm taking my transfer tape, and I am going to layer all of this together. So I'm pulling my red off first and putting it on top of the green. Going to burnish that on, and it kind of has trouble sticking because you're putting it back on its original backing. But I'm going to get that off. Then I'm going to grab my seeds, then put my seeds on the red. So I have now taken care of all the layering, and I've made one big sticker. So now, and always go with gravity, always pull down. So I burnished it, like I always cut off that extra. Here's our sign, there's our words. Remember, always go down, pull my backing off. Gonna line it up best I can. Get that on there, and watermelons are the smiles of summer. And yes, they are, my friends. And boom, there you go. Yeah! And here she is in all her glory. Watermelons are the smiles of summer. Why, yes, they sure are. Look at that crackle. And if you like those watermelon spindles that you see, check out my video linked here at the end. Thank you all. I love ya. See you later.